Hey guys, Teresa here. It is the 24th of December, Christmas Eve, the last day of Vlogmas. I wanted to try and hit the ground running this morning because I knew I had stuff to do, and I also want to make sure that I have time to relax. And I naturally woke up early, as I always do, so I edited my latest video, which is the 22nd and 23rd of December Vlogmas that's just come out. I had the idea of trying to do as much as I could for the day. I've had a shower now. I wanted to try and pin the hem of the dress because I've let my Christmas dress hang for the last couple of days. And I thought, well, really, it can give me a bit of a baseline if I can just pin it with like the same distance, looking nice and straight as it's hanging on the hanger. And then I can try it on and I can make some small adjustments. It shouldn't be hugely different. But it occurred to me as I was going, the side section looked so much longer than the front and the back, and I was a little confused until I remembered the nature of the sleeve. There's a grown-on sleeve that's like one big piece, and when it's in my body it will kind of tuck up a bit, but when it's not on my body it just hangs in a different way. So I realized that there's really no point trying to do anything until I can actually try it on. I was debating whether or not to do the chalk marker. My issue with the chalk marker, number one, I need that chalk to come out like straight away because I need to wear this dress tomorrow on Christmas. I don't have time to wash it and let it hang dry, any of that kind of stuff. And then number two, I am aware that I noticed my last dress, when I stand with my arms down, the dress doesn't look quite as straight along because of this thing I was talking about with the arms. When I move my arm up to be able to like hold the little pumper, it pulls the side up just a tiny bit. And so I think if I'm going to do the chalk marker, I want my husband to help me with that. Now, I will say chalk does come out quite easily if you just rub it, and I have a feeling it's probably not even going to stay very well on the velvet. So my plan will be to get my husband to help me do the chalk marking, and then I'm going to do a long basting stitch, just going around that line to make sure that I've got it quite nice and neat. Try it on, make sure I'm definitely happy with that, and brush off those chalk marks. I might do the chalk marks off before I try it on, just to make sure that I'm definitely happy that it's looking straight before I do the final stitching, because, you know, this has been an epic project and it doesn't unpick, so it kind of just has to be what it is. What I was able to do though is I threaded the elastic through the channel that I put on the sleeve, and I actually just hand stitched that shut because I didn't even want to bring this thing to the machine and bunch it up, and then all of my hanging for the last couple of days will not be accurate because things will start to shift around. But I'm not going to actually close that closure until I'm happy with the hem and everything, because again, I don't want everything to shift around while I'm stitching it closed. But the elastic channel is threaded. The elastic looks super cute. I love the way it's gathering in there. I know the size of it is going to be able to go up just past my elbow in a comfortable way, so I'm really happy with that. It is also too early to start making noise and do any baking with the mixer. So what I'm going to do now is just run through my advent calendars. It is my last days. I'm going to be sharing them with you. So I have my Advent Swapmas gift, the final one, which is number 12. Christine Gemini Stitches has made this such a wonderful Vlogmas. I know a lot of you guys have loved watching me get these gifts. I have obviously really enjoyed receiving these gifts. It's been such a special thing. Thank you again to Sam Sequin Girly Creates, who organized this whole thing. You really did bring so much joy to the Christmas season. All right, we're in tissue paper. I was a little nervous that I was gonna destroy something. So this is obviously from a company called A Little Bit Crafty UK. Smells like wood, like carved wood. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm like tearing up. Ah! Look at this. Oh, that is so beautiful. I cannot I cannot believe you stuck to this budget, Christine. Honestly, I mean, this is so beautiful. A wood carved Teresa's sewing room. Oh, I'm gonna have to decide where to put this in the sewing room, but this is such a special gift. I cannot thank you enough, Christine, for all these gifts. This is truly beautiful. All right, I need to get over my emotions. Genuinely though, like that's so touching. Right, so I just wanted to show you guys as a really fun bonus, because I've finished up my box all these gifts were in. I had to find some storage for all of the hot chocolate bombs that I made that I'm bringing to the family Christmas. Can I just show you like how perfect it fits in there? Like it was meant to be, and it is exactly the right number of hot chocolate, but I couldn't have fit another one in there, so that was a really extra nice fun thing. So I will be taking you with me to Christmas, Christine. Right, and then my Naked Marshmallow Advent. I've got the 24th over here. It's a bit early to have my marshmallow, but I can at least find out what it is. Honeycomb and chocolate. That was actually a really good one. And it just says 1 sleep to go. Now, this calendar actually does give me a 25th. So most Advent calendars end on the 24th, but I know that the 25th, it's like a special, it's like a bigger marshmallow covered in chocolate. And because you guys are not going to be here with me, and frankly, I'm not going to have time to eat marshmallow before I go to my mother and father-in-law's tomorrow morning. I'm just going to sneak a peek and see what it is. I think these marshmallows I'm probably going to leave for myself for when I come back home after Christmas, because we're staying with my mother and father-in-law up in Oxfordshire. But yeah, let me just see what's inside. So it just says Merry Christmas, a chocolate orange flavored gourmet marshmallow bar drenched in finest Belgian milk chocolate. That is going to be a real treat. I do love chocolate orange, and chocolate orange is very Christmassy, so I think that's a really nice end to this calendar. It is still a bit early to wake my husband up, so what I'm going to do until he does get up is read some poetry, do some meditation, and actually chill out. Can you imagine? I'll check in soon. We are out on a somewhat impromptu jaunt, the last outing before Christmas. I love when I'm up early enough to get the birds. They're so nice and peaceful to hear. So I woke up this morning and realized all I had for breakfast was porridge, which is fine, and I like my porridge, but it's Christmas Eve, and I felt like I wanted something a little more special. Often I would make like pancakes or waffles or something, but I don't have the time or the energy for that this year. And I thought, well, actually, there's a patisserie near me that does a really good almond croissant, and they also do really wonderful Christmassy cakes and things, and I haven't been there yet this year over the Christmas season. Had to look online to check, are they definitely open on Christmas Eve? And I found out that the owners are actually leaving. It's going to be under new management after Christmas. So basically this is my last opportunity. I definitely had to go. I hope there are still a few things there, because it's not that long after 8, but it's their last day. I don't know if it's going to be busy, but I'm hoping to show you some fun Christmassy things and get a nice treat for myself. So stage 1 of that is complete. I managed to get this dress on inside out, so I'm not risking anything with the velvet itself by putting a long string of yarn into the zipper pull, and then I was able to just like pull it up and get it on. Getting it off, I did need help though, so my husband helps me to unzip it. But I've got a line now, which I can just pan down and show you. Hopefully you guys can see. I'll get a little bit up close, but I have my chalk line, which my husband kindly helped me with. I think actually doing it with 2 people was way easier, as silly as it is, because theoretically he could just help me and pin it. We're a bit high. But we have tried before for my husband to help me hem a dress, and it doesn't go well. He's not someone who's used to pinning. It ends in pain and tears for all people involved. Maybe I'm being dramatic, but definitely it's just not worth it. And I feel like him just doing a little pumping and directing me to make sure that I'm all lined up works well. So I'm going to crouch down on the ground, leave this hanging, because it's, I guess I could move it now. I'm just going to leave it hanging, and I'm going to hand stitch just a long basting stitch all the way around by hand. And then I'm going to try it on right sides out and look and make sure that that line looks still good. And if it does, I'm then going to trim a sort of specific distance from the end. I'm thinking probably I'll go like 1.5 inches, and then I can fold it up 1/2 inch and then another inch. And I'm going to very much like pin and hold it in place rather than bother trying to press it, because I know this isn't going to press very well, and then I can sew it together on the machine. I wanted to show you guys because this is my sewing space. I mean, you're somewhat blocked. This is where I sew, and I've got my beautiful new sign. And so this is what I'm thinking. I did think it could go here, which is cute, but I feel like it's going to be a little bit hidden. So I'm thinking, I made this, I'm thinking if I swap and put this here, and then I move that to the other side, that is probably what I'm going to do, but not a job for today. Not a job for before Christmas. I just thought I would let you guys know, seeing as I've got it, where I think it's going to end up. It likely won't appear in my videos because I feel like it's probably a little bit hidden, but there's not anywhere that I would put it that it would be super visible in my videos, and I feel like it's for me rather than for my YouTube anyway. But yeah, let me get on with this hem, and I'm going to do my long stitches. I should say I thoroughly enjoyed my almond croissant. It was so good. Coffee and a croissant go so well together. Really, really nice. I did end up picking up a couple of their pastries, their cakes. Now I will say, there's a lot of sweet stuff going on at the moment. I am not particularly in need of having those things, but it's my last opportunity because they're going to be changing ownership. So I found out that the owners are retiring, which I totally respect. Really happy for them that they're doing that. I just don't feel overly optimistic that it's going to be the same after the new management comes in. We all know when that kind of thing happens, usually things go downhill. So I did pick up 2 cakes, and I'm planning to just taste them later, even if I can't eat the whole thing, and then I can save them for after Christmas. But I will let you guys know what I think of them and show you the ones that I did pick up. But one thing at a time, this hem needs to get sewn. So I tried it on and let my husband see what it looked like, and basically it was super wonky. What he thinks may have been a factor is that because it's a billowy fabric, he was trying to pull it a bit straight to get a good straight line, but then that may have kind of angled things where it was going. So I've got my new chalk line. I am going to pull it out. I was just curious to see how much of it matched, to be quite honest. And it's definitely, it's not a million miles off, but it does look off in places. So I'm going to take my previous basting stitch out and put a new one in, and we'll see. So apparently trying it on that attempt is much better, much straighter. So I think it was just that he was trying to pull the fabric a bit, which was altering where it was sitting. It's definitely one of these things, I feel like a bit of a trial and error. I think it's something that I'm learning this little device as much as anything as I'm going, and he's never used it before. So I'm just very grateful that we managed to get there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to trim along that line 1.5 inches below to give myself my cut line, and then I will fold again and stitch along that line. I will also just rethread my bobbin because I see that it's on the lower end and I could play bobbin chicken, but I don't want to play bobbin chicken with this fabric. I'm just gonna go ahead and give myself a good amount of thread on my bobbin. I've got plenty of thread to spare, and fingers crossed we're pretty much there. I will just then have to stitch close the area of the cuff that I have put the elastic into, and that's a super simple job to do, and then we're done, guys. Famous last words. Everything about this dress has taken like twice as long as I think it's going to. So I expect the same with the hem. We'll see how we go. That definitely things did shift as I was sewing. It wasn't a total disaster, but there are areas where things did shift and it got a little bit bunched up on the inside. So honestly, I don't care if the outside looks good. Obviously, still got my basting stitches there. There is some little bit of curling. I'm gonna have to press that, try my best. But there were some bits there where it was like bunching up on the inside. I don't really care if there's like puckers and things on the inside as long as everything is secure. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull these hand basting stitches out. They will come out pretty easily. And then I am going to double check all the way around, make sure there's not any areas that didn't get caught in the fold underneath, because it is entirely possible as I was trying to fold things under. I left my basting stitches on there while I was sewing this hem just as a reference point, and I'm glad that I did because there were some points where things did slip around and they weren't quite in the right spot. But largely I think it's pretty good. I can see there are a couple of areas that somehow didn't get caught underneath. So I'm just gonna do a little bit of extra stitching on those bits. I don't think it's going to be super visible, and more importantly, it's going to be secure. Then I'll give it a good press. My battery ran out, so you might have another one of those weird edits. But yeah, I was just saying I'm going to go ahead and just make sure everything's secure. Overstitch any bits that didn't quite get caught on the stitch line to make sure everything's tucked down and it's not going to start fraying and falling to pieces. And give it a good press, and then I am finished. Now, there were a few people who had been asking or basically saying that based on my experiences, they were never going to sew with silk velvet. They were crossing it off their list of fabrics to sew with. And I have to say, I very much would love to sew with silk velvet again. Listen to me now. And I'm like just finishing my battle. The thing is, there are tricky fabrics to sew with, and there are fabrics that are nice to wear, and quite often they are one and the same. And I have definitely gotten better with viscose with practice, and I'm sure the same would happen with silk velvet. I think the main things I would say, definitely minimal seams is really key. Deb's mentioned, so Deb's, what's her channel? I'm gonna put it up, I can't remember Deb's YouTube channel, but she was saying she's got some silk velvet and she's thinking minimal seams. I think 100% minimal seams. But also, I just feel like there is something. I remember when I was listening to that Ologies podcast that I was talking to you guys about memory, somebody was asking the question about when women have babies and they go through a challenging pregnancy, painful childbirth, all this, and then somehow like a year, 2 years, 3 years down the line, it's almost like they've forgotten all that and they want to have another baby again, and they forget what the experience was like for them. And what he was saying is there is something in our brains that when there's like a whole experience and there's a positive and a negative, the positive aspects of it can really minimize the negative aspects in our memories. And I feel like I haven't forgotten the difficult things with sewing with this fabric, but I love the finished outcome so much that, like, weighing it up, I would do it all over again. And also I feel like the positive feelings, the endorphins of having a beautiful thing does make me feel like, oh, whatever that was fine. That was like old Teresa. She got by. She got to where I am now. She survived. So I'm gonna finish up these final bits. I am really excited to actually put this dress on and show it off to you guys as best I can. And I'm probably gonna do that after some lunch though, because it's gotten around to lunchtime, but we're getting there, guys. We're making it. Just in time for Christmas as well. Well, I have decided to come outside into the cold because you guys need to see this dress in all its glory with the natural light hitting it. I hope you all love it as much as I do. There are some minor details that aren't perfect, but I am not going to do the thing of pointing out the details that are not perfect. I love this dress. I cannot wait to wear it for Christmas. It feels incredible on, and I'm just so happy. Thank you for coming along on the journey with me, guys. Let me show you this dress. Final Christmas cookie is happening. It is the classic butter Spritz cookies. Always a big favorite of mine, always a big favorite in my husband's family, so we definitely had to make these. I get to use my cookie press, which is always a very fun part of the Christmas period. It can be a little bit touch and go, so fingers crossed the dough is the right thickness, but we'll have to just see. Well, that is officially the end of the Christmas cookie marathon. I will say one of the cookies did fall to pieces when I was dipping in the milk chocolate, so I had a taste, but I'm going to allow myself to have one of the white chocolate ones now that it's fully hardened with the sprinkles. I do know that I love a butter Spritz, and I feel like when I have them, it's one of those things I forget how good they are until I have them. But yeah, the white chocolate one, it is a classic. Yeah, it's official. That is actually my favorite cookie that I'm bringing to Christmas this year. I love those cookies so much. I don't know if I prefer the white chocolate or the milk chocolate. I might actually give the milk chocolate the edge, but they're both absolutely incredible. As always, the recipe will be down below. I also, though, wanted to have a look at my pastries that I picked up from the Patisserie. Like I said, there's no way I'm going to eat these now, but I need a taste because they're too cute. Okay, so this guy, literally, this Santa man, can I show him to you without him falling over? It's like he's in bed and his little feet are hanging out. So this is layers of raspberry and passion fruit, which is like 100% me, right up my alley. And obviously it's stinking adorable. It looks like a sponge cake in the middle layers. I'm gonna take a foot. That is just so light and fluffy and delicious. I'm definitely gonna have to have at least another bite of that, but I need to see my second pastry treat. It's another Santa. And frankly, I don't remember what's in this, and I'm not sure I even knew at the time because the woman who owns this patisserie has such a thick French accent, I couldn't really understand her, but I'm gonna find out. Clearly we've got a chocolate cake layer with a chocolate mousse and some looks like vanilla cream. It's definitely a little boozy. I'm not quite sure what's in there, but it is definitely really rich and chocolatey. Probably a little chocolatey for me. If you guys do not know, I am a bit of a chocolate wimp. So this one I may pass over to my husband. But that little layer cake, I mean, that is just like full marks, absolutely. I'm gutted that these people are no longer going to be owning this patisserie because at least they went out with a bang. I'm really happy with the things that I got. It was definitely worth going and picking up some things this morning. I think these are probably going to have to wait until this evening after dinner. So for the rest of my evening, I'm going to be editing this video. I want to get this out to you guys so that way when Christmas comes, I've got no other obligations. Tonight, I'm going to be making some dinner and watching another Christmas movie with my husband, getting all cozy with the Christmas decorations, enjoying Christmas Eve. I want to say a huge thank you to all of you guys who have been watching my Vlogmas videos, whether you've watched some or all. It has been so fun to have you guys on the journey, being my cheerleaders when I needed it, leaving comments to keep me going. It really has made this Christmas period a lot more joyful. I also want to wish all of you a really wonderful Christmas if you celebrate it. I hope you have the best time with your family and friends. I also want to wish you guys a very happy new year. I will be back again soon with one of my regularly scheduled videos, but until then, bye!